Welcome back to In Frame Brooklyn. Charlie from Real Brooklyn Films here, and today we're going to talk about customer service. A little bit of gear, but mostly customer service. Over the last three or 4 weeks, I've had some interactions with some amazing companies, and the customer service has been really amazing and outstanding and needs to be talked about. In our business, as we know, we often deal with companies that are large and really could give a crap about us, or what our needs are. They just want to sell us stuff. So today we're going to talk about customer service and a little bit of gear. We'll do that at the end, right after this. Okay, so customer service. A lot of people don't talk about it because usually customer service is awful. So we're going to talk about 3 companies that I've dealt with over the last 3 or 4 weeks that are amazing and their customer service is outstanding and needs to be spoken about. First, we're going to talk about Musicbed. Musicbed is an online music service, and I participated in the 30-day short film challenge with Musicbed, where you made a 10-minute short film and you had to use 10 seconds of their music in your film. I didn't win, doesn't matter. I had fun making the movie. But to use more of than 10 seconds, you had to get a demo subscription, temporary subscription. And then you had 3 free downloads and you can use the full music. And the music I found was really good. So my plan was, like everybody else, I was going to get the temporary subscription, get my music, do the movie, and then before it turned live, I would cancel it. Unfortunately, in between making the movie, getting the temporary subscription, I had a little bit of an accident, and I did not remember to cancel my subscription. So I realized that when I got billed for a month of the subscription, and it's a year-long subscription, and I read some things about you can't cancel it. I don't know. Whatever the things I read were wrong. But anyway, I reached out to customer support at Musicbed because I'm freaking out. I can't afford it. It's just out of my budget. The music's great, and if I could afford it, I would have it, and we'll get into that in a second. So I reached out to customer service, thinking, my wife is going to kill me, and literally, like the next morning, I got an email from the amazing Katie from Musicbed. She's part of customer service there, and not only was she interested in my story, and because I explained to her, that this is what happened. I'm being honest because I don't lie. She wanted to know my story. She wanted to know, how they could help me, and what was involved. And I told her. And not only did they cancel my subscription, she refunded the money from that first payment. Okay? Who does that? No, nobody does that. That's who does that. Who does that? Nobody does that. And by doing that, not only did they have my respect, they also have a customer for life. So while I may not be able to afford the year subscription, I am going to pull songs from Musicbed, and you can buy a single license. And from now on, Musicbed is going to be my music source because the customer service is amazing. And you need to support people like this. Unheard of. We're going to give you your money back. Yeah. Never. That doesn't happen. Okay. Company number 2. I am old. I am broken. And I can no longer, physically just handhold my camera rig without support. And while I was making the short film about my dad in Brooklyn, I literally wrenched my back. I was out of commission for 3 weeks, really bad. And this is the old filmmaking injuries. I've had these for years, starting back when I worked in theater, and occasionally it gets worse. So while I was contemplating how to not end my filmmaking career, considering that the film I'm working on right now is completely handheld. I got 2 handheld cameras doing this homeless thing, and I need a solution. So I did some research, and I knew that I could not afford a Cine Saddle. First of all, I would never pay $400 for what amounts to a pillow. Yes, they're beautiful, they're wonderful, they're $400. But what I did see from a number of people, Mark Bone, a couple of other people, the sack, It's a silly name, but it's the thing. Hang on one second. The sack, okay? It was on the table. This thing, hey, see how light it is? But more importantly, I literally shot with this the other day, 25 minutes holding this thing down at City Hall, and I'm not dead. and by the way, smooth transitions, and you can't believe what a lifesaver this is. But the customer service side. So I ordered it as soon as I knew that I needed it. I ordered it, and it comes from Australia. I think it also comes from England, but the delivery time said, I think, maybe 4 or 5 business days. It was perfectly reasonable. So I ordered it, and I was waiting, and it was coming up on like a week, and I was wondering where it was, and I went to do the tracking, and the tracking was really weird. There was sort of like no record of it in the tracking number that I had. So I reached out to SAC, wonderful people, Sydney at SAC, and I don't know if Sydney's a he or a she, but I'm going to say she, wrote me back and apologized for it not being there and would look into it immediately. And I heard back like almost immediately, and apparently there was a problem with customs, not just with mine, but with a number of others. And she wrote me a wonderful long email, a personal email, and said they were looking into it and that their people would take care of it if there's a problem. And so she said, we'll get back. So I waited a couple more days, hadn't heard back, and I still couldn't find the tracking. So she wrote back to me again, unprompted, that they are having a problem with customs for some reason. There's a number of their packages, and she promised me that she would take care of this if there was a problem. So she kept in contact with me this whole time. And then eventually it did go through customs, and eventually it did show up, and I got it. And just as I was going to email Sydney to tell her that I got it, she emailed me. Wants to know, it says that I got it. Did I get it? Everything was good. Do I like it? Again, customer service like this doesn't exist. So please, all filmmakers who have bad backs, or even if you don't, this is an amazing option for handheld. It's 1,000 times cheaper than an easy rig. Let's not even talk about Steadicam, and it's adjustable, and you can put it on the floor and use it as a tiny little tripod on the floor. You strap this in your back seat. You put the camera here, and you put the seatbelt across it, and you have a nice little car seat for your camera. I'm telling you, the SAC. Where is it? SAC. I recommend it highly, and I don't recommend a lot of things. So this is number 2. Okay, last but not least, Follow Focus Gears. For those of you who have been following this channel for a long time, know that Follow Focus Gears has been a long-time sponsor of this channel, going all the way back to when I made the Trump movie. However, we're up in the game now with all of those people, all of you people who are doing these cinemods to your old Canon FD lenses. You should be getting all your focus gears from Sean at Follow Focus Gears. There's 3 guys down there 3D printing these things, and they make a ring for every lens. And if they don't have that, they will find it and they will make it. They'll make it for you. The customer service is amazing. So I reached out to Sean because I started with my FD50, and I wanted a follow focus ring for it. So I reached out, and when I got it, it was a little loose. So I wrote back to Sean. I said, hey, it's a little loose. So before I could even do anything, he had already put another one in the mail that fits right. So, and then I got one for the 28 that I got, and these are amazing. I can't talk about them enough. And with everybody now modding these lenses, this is what you need. It's tight, doesn't slip. These are what you need. So I'm telling you, from me to you, go to Follow Focus Gears, get these rings. And if you look on the bottom here, we have our own code now. In Frame Brooklyn 25 is the code. 10% off on any ring you buy. You buy 1 ring and 10% off. You buy 2 rings and 10% off each ring. Okay? Go to Sean, get the rings. They obviously their customer service I don't even have to tell you about because it's the best. It's always been the best, which is why I don't have any sponsors but Follow Focus Gears. Go down. Everybody's modding these lenses now. Go do it. And also, there's a guy in Canada who's doing these 3D printed conversion kits for the EF mount. You can find him online also. Turning this glass, which is basically the same as the K35 glass from the old Canon cinema lenses, for the price of like $35 on eBay, you can have real cinema glass. So anyway, that's our customer service part. Now we're going to talk about used gear. Okay, so one last thing, we'll talk about a little bit about used gear. We'll start with these lenses. I gotta tell, these are available on eBay. Okay, these are all the old Canon FD lenses that we had on, believe it or not, my old Canon AE1. Okay, I got this in 1994. I bought it used in 1994, and I had this 50 millimeter lens on this. Now, as it turns out, these are all now available on eBay for under $100. And the glass, if you look it up, the FD glass is the same glass and optics as the K35s that they used in the 70s and the 80s to shoot, big budget Hollywood films, except in a tiny little package. And I did some shooting with it yesterday, and you can see the pictures here. Unbelievable, the quality and the bokeh and the reflection. You'll see in the picture. Anyway, I highly recommend these. You can get a full set of primes, really good primes, for like under $200, and you can cinemod these for literally. Well, this is for the EF, but you can also get adapters for just about any lens. But any camera system, this is for the EF, but they make adapters now for the FD to Sony, to anything you want. So you can adapt these to any camera system and have these amazing, cheap prime lenses. So that is my hint for the day. The other used gear purchase, which happened between our last video and now, is I actually wound up getting the Canon C300 Mark II. I managed to scrape enough together to get it on eBay for $1,600. $16,000 camera in 2019 or 2017 for $1,600. And you can see it here. It's amazing. It's pristine. It's used, but it's like new. Came with an amazing case, this big gigantic case. And I'm using it. So now I've got the C300 as our A cam, and the R6 as our B cam, and that's it. That's what we're shooting the new movie on. In fact, we were out this past weekend. We were down at City Hall shooting a rally, used gear. And I keep telling you, used gear. Go find used gear. Oh, by the way, don't buy a C300 as your first camera. Go out, do what I said, get an R6, and go out and shoot your movie. Shoot your movie, shoot your movie, shoot your movie. I think I sound like a broken record, but you know what? Read my book, Documentary Filmmaking 101. If you want to do the budget, you got our budget thing. If you want to reach out to me, Charlie at www.realbrooklynfilms.net, Charlie RBFNYC at gmail.com. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. I know I never asked. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I think the next video will actually be some BTS and some storytelling of the shoot, because we're starting interviews next week, and we're rolling right along. So that's it. Keep shooting.